There is something deeply unsettling about lying in bed at night, exhausted, ready for sleep, and then feeling it. That burning, that strange, uncomfortable heat crawling through your feet. Not a sharp pain exactly, not quite a tingling, just this relentless, maddening warmth that won't let you rest. You kick off the blankets, you press your feet against the cool side of the mattress. Maybe you even get up and stand on the cold bathroom floor just to get some relief. And for a few minutes it works, but then it comes right back. If that sounds familiar, I want you to stay with me right now, because what most people do is assume it's just poor circulation, or tired feet, or getting older. They brush it off. They suffer through it night after night. But here's what very few people realize, that burning sensation in your feet, especially at night, can be one of the earliest warning signals your body sends before something far more serious develops. And the window to act on it wisely is often shorter than anyone expects. Today we're going to talk honestly about what that burning really means, what's happening beneath the surface, and what you can actually do about it. Some of what I share today may surprise you. Some of it may even worry you a little. But I promise by the end of this, you'll walk away with real clarity, real hope, and a real plan. My name is Dr. Silas Redford, and welcome back to Dr. Silas Redford Wellness. This channel exists for one reason only: to give you the honest, clear, compassionate health information that you deserve, especially during the years of life when your body needs the most attention and care. If you haven't subscribed yet, I'd love for you to join this community. Just hit that subscribe button and the bell beside it. Every week we bring you content that could genuinely change the way you feel and the way you live. And if today's video helps you or someone you love, please give it a like. It truly helps us reach more seniors who need this information. Now, let's talk about your feet. There's a woman named Patricia, 71 years old, retired school teacher from Ohio. She had been dealing with burning feet for almost 2 years before she mentioned it to her doctor. She assumed it was just part of aging. Her mother had it. Her aunt had it. She figured it ran in the family and there wasn't much to be done. But when her doctor finally ran some tests, the results were a wake-up call. Patricia had developed peripheral neuropathy, nerve damage in her feet and lower legs, that had been quietly progressing for years. The burning sensation was her nervous system trying to tell her, in the only language it knows, that something was wrong. Patricia's story is not unique. In fact, burning feet at night is one of the most underreported and misunderstood symptoms among adults over 60. And the reasons behind it are far more varied and sometimes far more serious than most people realize. So let's start from the beginning. What actually causes that burning feeling? Your feet are home to thousands of nerve endings. These nerves are responsible for sending signals back and forth between your feet and your brain, signals about temperature, pressure, pain, movement, and position. When those nerves are healthy and functioning properly, you don't really notice them. But when something starts to interfere with those signals, the nerves begin to misfire. They send false alarms. They create sensations that don't match what's actually happening in the environment. And one of the most common false alarms they send is heat. Burning. Even when your feet are perfectly cool to the touch, your nervous system is screaming fire. This is called neuropathic pain, and it's more common than most people know. But here's what's important to understand. The nerve damage itself is almost never the root problem. It's a symptom of something else going on deeper in the body. And that deeper cause is what we really need to talk about, because identifying it is the difference between getting better and getting worse. One of the most common causes of burning feet at night, especially in adults over 60, is uncontrolled or undiagnosed diabetes. Now, I know many of you already know you have diabetes, but what you may not know is how quietly and efficiently high blood sugar destroys nerve tissue over time. The small blood vessels that feed your nerves become damaged. The nerves slowly lose their insulation and their ability to function properly, and the feet, being the farthest point from the heart, are almost always the first place where this damage shows up. What makes this particularly dangerous is that many people with type 2 diabetes don't know they have it until damage has already been done. Studies suggest that by the time someone is formally diagnosed with diabetes, they may have had elevated blood sugar for 5 to 10 years. 10 years of slow, invisible nerve damage. And the first sign, often the very first outward sign, is burning feet at night. But diabetes is not the only cause. Stay with me, because what comes next is something most doctors don't take enough time to explain. Another major cause of nighttime burning feet is a deficiency in certain essential vitamins and minerals, specifically vitamin B12. This particular vitamin is absolutely critical for maintaining the protective coating around your nerves, a coating called the myelin sheath. Think of it like the insulation around an electrical wire. When that insulation is intact, signals travel cleanly and efficiently. But when B12 levels drop, that insulation begins to deteriorate. The nerve signals start to short circuit, and you feel it as burning, tingling, numbness, or a strange crawling sensation in your feet. Here's the part that concerns me most about this cause. Vitamin B12 deficiency is shockingly common in adults over 60, and it's almost entirely preventable. As we age, our stomachs produce less of a substance called intrinsic factor, which is what allows us to absorb B12 from food. So even if you're eating foods rich in B12, meat, eggs, dairy, your body may not be absorbing nearly enough. And if you're taking a common heartburn medication, or if you've ever been prescribed Metformin for blood sugar, those medications can reduce B12 absorption even further. What's worse, B12 deficiency can take years to develop and often shows no symptoms until the nerve damage is already significant. By the time the burning begins, many seniors have been severely deficient for a long time. And here's what really troubles researchers. Low B12 doesn't just affect your feet. It also affects your memory, your balance, your energy levels, and your mood. It looks in many cases almost identical to early dementia. And some people are being treated for cognitive decline when what they actually have is a reversible vitamin deficiency. I want you to let that sink in for a moment. Now let's talk about another cause that almost nobody talks about. Thyroid dysfunction. Your thyroid is a small butterfly-shaped gland in your neck that controls your metabolism, your energy, your body temperature regulation, and a significant portion of your nervous system function. When your thyroid is underactive, a condition called hypothyroidism, everything slows down. Your circulation slows, your nerve function slows. Fluid can build up in the tissues of your body, including around the nerves in your feet. And that pressure on the nerves creates exactly the kind of burning, tingling sensation you might be experiencing right now. Hypothyroidism is one of the most underdiagnosed conditions in adults over 60. Symptoms like fatigue, weight gain, cold sensitivity, dry skin, and yes, burning or tingling in the feet are often attributed simply to aging. A good doctor will check your thyroid, but not every doctor thinks to ask, and not every patient knows to push for it. And that means countless seniors are suffering from a completely treatable condition without ever knowing the real cause. There's also something called tarsal tunnel syndrome, which is much less well known but incredibly relevant here. The tarsal tunnel is a narrow space on the inside of your ankle, similar to the carpal tunnel in your wrist. A large nerve called the tibial nerve passes through this tunnel. When the tissue around it becomes inflamed, due to injury, arthritis, flat feet, or swelling, that nerve gets compressed. And compressed nerves send distress signals, burning signals, especially at night when you're lying still and the swelling from the day has had time to settle. Many people with tarsal tunnel syndrome spend years being told their feet are just tired, or that they need better shoes, or that it's all part of getting older. Meanwhile, the nerve compression continues, and in severe cases, the damage becomes permanent. Let me tell you about another man I want you to imagine. His name is Gerald, 68 years old, retired firefighter from Texas. Gerald had dealt with burning feet for 3 years. He'd bought 3 different pairs of orthopedic shoes, tried foot creams, soaked his feet nightly, even tried those foot massagers you see advertised on television. Nothing gave him lasting relief. It wasn't until a new doctor asked him very specific questions about when the burning happened, how long it lasted, whether it was worse on one side, and what made it better or worse, that they finally discovered his issue was actually a circulation problem combined with mild hypothyroidism. Once both conditions were treated properly, Gerald described his first good night of sleep in years as feeling like waking up from a very long, bad dream. Gerald's story matters because it illustrates something critical. Burning feet is almost never just one thing. It's often a combination of factors: nutritional, hormonal, circulatory, structural, all layered on top of each other. That's why a proper diagnosis is so important, and why self-diagnosing based on one possible cause can leave you frustrated and still suffering. Now, I want to talk about something that many seniors find embarrassing to admit. Sometimes burning feet at night is connected to alcohol consumption. Chronic alcohol use, even at moderate levels over many years, is toxic to peripheral nerves. It slowly strips away the protective coating around nerve fibers, depletes B vitamins, and damages the liver's ability to process nutrients properly. The result is a condition called alcoholic neuropathy, and it presents almost identically to diabetic neuropathy. Burning, numbness, tingling, weakness, especially in the feet and lower legs. And the most difficult part of this conversation is that for many seniors, what feels like just a glass of wine with dinner every night for 30 years can quietly add up to real nerve damage. This isn't said to shame anyone. It's said because knowledge gives you power. And if you've noticed the burning getting worse over time and alcohol has been a consistent part of your lifestyle, it may be one piece of a very important puzzle worth discussing with your doctor. Let's talk for a moment about something that often gets overlooked entirely: the role of inflammation in the body. Chronic low-grade inflammation, the kind that doesn't announce itself with fever or redness, is now understood to be at the root of an enormous number of health problems in aging adults. It damages blood vessels, it interferes with hormone signaling, it can trigger autoimmune responses, and it absolutely contributes to nerve dysfunction and pain sensitization. When your body is in a chronically inflamed state, your pain pathways become heightened. Nerve signals that would normally be filtered out get amplified. Your nervous system essentially becomes hypervigilant, interpreting mild sensations as severe ones and interpreting temperature as burning. This is why what you eat, how much you sleep, how much stress you carry, and how active you are all have a direct and measurable impact on whether your feet burn at night. And this brings us to something really hopeful. Because unlike some health conditions where the damage is done and reversal is impossible, nerve-related burning in the feet, when caught before the damage becomes severe, is often significantly improvable. Not always curable, but genuinely, meaningfully better. Many seniors who take the right steps report dramatic reductions in their symptoms within weeks to months. So what are those right steps? Let's walk through them carefully. The first and most important step is getting a proper diagnosis. This means going to your doctor and specifically describing the burning, when it happens, how intense it is, how long you've had it, whether it's in both feet or one, whether anything makes it better or worse, and whether you have other symptoms like fatigue, memory issues, or unusual thirst. Ask your doctor to check your blood sugar, both a fasting glucose and an HbA1c, which shows your average blood sugar over 3 months. Ask them to check your B12 levels, your thyroid function, and your kidney function. These are simple blood tests that most labs can run in one visit, and yet they reveal an enormous amount about what might be driving your symptoms. Do not accept "it's just aging" as an answer. Burning feet is not a normal or expected part of aging. It is a symptom. Symptoms have causes. Causes can often be addressed. The second step is looking honestly at your nutrition. If you're low in B12, supplementing can make a significant difference. But not all supplements are created equal. The most bioavailable form of B12 is Methylcobalamin, not Cyanocobalamin. For people with absorption issues, sublingual B12, the kind that dissolves under your tongue, bypasses the digestive system and gets directly into the bloodstream. Many seniors see improvement in nerve symptoms within 6 to 8 weeks of proper B12 supplementation. B6 is also worth paying attention to, but with an important caution. Too much B6 can actually cause nerve damage rather than prevent it, so don't go overboard. And alpha-lipoic acid, a natural antioxidant, has been studied extensively for its ability to reduce neuropathic pain and improve nerve function. It's widely used in Europe specifically for diabetic neuropathy, and the evidence supporting it is genuinely strong. The third step is movement. I know that might seem counterintuitive when your feet are uncomfortable, but gentle, regular physical activity is one of the most powerful tools for improving circulation, reducing inflammation, and supporting nerve health. Walking, swimming, tai chi, gentle yoga, all of these encourage blood flow to the extremities, which is exactly what nerve tissue needs to heal and function. Even 15 to 20 minutes of gentle walking each day can make a measurable difference over time. Start where you are. Don't push through pain, but don't let discomfort become an excuse for complete stillness either. The fourth step is looking at your sleep environment and sleep position. Tight bedding that presses down on your feet can compress the very nerves that are already sensitized. Try loosening the sheets at the foot of your bed or using a small pillow under your feet to elevate them slightly. Some people find that sleeping with a fan blowing cool air across their feet provides significant relief. Others benefit from cooling gel inserts or moisture-wicking socks. These are small things, but when you're lying awake at 2 in the morning with burning feet, small things matter enormously. The fifth step is stress management, and I say this not as a throwaway piece of advice, but as a genuinely medical recommendation. Chronic psychological stress elevates cortisol, which promotes inflammation, disrupts sleep, and sensitizes the nervous system. When your stress levels are consistently high, your body is always in a state of low-level alarm, And that alarm is felt literally and physically in your most sensitive nerve endings. Practices like slow, deep breathing, gentle meditation, time in nature, meaningful social connection, and consistent sleep schedules are not soft suggestions. They are biological interventions with measurable effects on nerve pain and inflammation. Now, here's something I want you to hear clearly, especially if you've been dealing with this for a long time and have started to feel hopeless about it. There is a man named Howard, 74 years old, from North Carolina, who had burning feet so severe that he couldn't bear to have any fabric touch his feet at night. He slept with his feet outside the covers year-round, even in winter. He had given up on finding an answer. He assumed this was just the rest of his life. But after being properly evaluated, he was found to have undiagnosed type 2 diabetes combined with significant B12 deficiency. His doctor put him on a careful management plan, guided him through dietary changes, started him on supplementation, and worked with him on blood sugar control. Within 4 months, Howard described his feet as feeling, for the first time in years, almost normal at night. He sent a letter to his doctor that said simply, "I forgot what it felt like to sleep through the night." Thank you for giving that back to me. I share Howard's story because it's real, and because it represents what is possible when the right questions get asked and the right steps get taken. But I also want to be honest with you about something. Not every case of burning feet has a clean, reversible cause. For some people, the nerve damage has progressed to a point where full recovery is no longer possible, but significant improvement still is. Pain management, physical therapy, nerve support supplements, and medical treatments like low-level laser therapy or transcutaneous nerve stimulation have all shown real benefit for people dealing with chronic neuropathic pain. The goal is not always to eliminate the burning entirely. Sometimes the goal is to reduce it to a level where you can sleep, where you can function, where you can live your life without it consuming your attention every night. And that goal is almost always achievable with the right support. I also want to quickly mention something that doesn't get talked about nearly enough: the connection between burning feet and kidney function. Your kidneys are responsible for filtering waste products from your blood. When kidney function begins to decline, something that happens gradually in many older adults, often without obvious symptoms, those waste products can begin to accumulate in the bloodstream, and certain waste byproducts are directly toxic to nerve tissue. Uremic neuropathy, as it's called, produces burning, tingling, and restless sensations in the feet and legs that are often worse at night and are frequently mistaken for restless leg syndrome or general neuropathy. If you've been told your kidney numbers are slightly off, or if you have a history of high blood pressure or chronic dehydration, it is absolutely worth asking your doctor to check your kidney function in the context of your foot symptoms. This connection is real, it's important, and it's often missed. As we come toward the close of today's conversation, I want to speak to you directly, wherever you are right now. You deserve to sleep through the night. You deserve to not lie awake wondering what's wrong with your body. You deserve clear answers, real guidance, and the kind of compassionate medical care that takes your symptoms seriously instead of dismissing them as inevitable. Aging does bring changes, but suffering silently through symptoms that have real, addressable causes is not something you have to accept. If today's video has shed light on something you've been wondering about, please don't wait. Write down your symptoms in detail before your next doctor's appointment. Be specific. Be persistent. Ask for the tests. Push for the answers. You are your own best advocate, and no one will fight for your health more effectively than you will. And if you don't have a doctor you feel comfortable talking openly with, seek one out. Ask friends or family for recommendations. Look for internists or geriatric specialists in your area who take time to listen. You deserve that kind of care. The small steps you take today, writing down your symptoms, booking the appointment, adjusting your diet, adding a short daily walk, talking honestly about what your body is telling you, those steps compound. They build on each other. And months from now, you may look back and recognize that one conversation, one decision, one moment of paying attention made all the difference. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Have you been dealing with burning feet at night? Did something in today's video help you make sense of what you've been experiencing? Your story matters, and it might be exactly what someone else needs to read today to feel less alone. Please share this video with anyone in your life who might be dealing with unexplained burning or tingling in their feet. You might be the reason they finally get the answer they've been searching for, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourself. You're worth it.